ministry. I'll be ending soon. I'm not going to read the whole book, but just some of them. The end of Saul's ministry. 1 Samuel 15 verse 22. And Samuel said, has the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than to sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. Amen. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from becoming and being king. Now, Saul's ministry was brought to an end by stubbornness and rebellion. In Deuteronomy 21, we get the revelation of how serious a problem is to be stubborn and to be rebellious. Rebellious means I don't want to obey. It says, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, all right, and that they have chastened him and they will not hearken to him, then his father and his mother shall lay hold on him and bring him to the elders of the city. And they shall say to the elders, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Amen. Now, stubbornness means the best way you can know that you are stubborn. Stubbornness ended Saul. Saul was the first king of Israel. God chose Saul. God chose Saul prophetically. Saul was not a bad person. God chose Saul. God chose Saul. Saul was not. People don't call their children Saul, but Saul was not a bad man. I know people don't call their. All these people don't name their child Saul, Cain, and all this. Saul was not a bad man. He was the first king appointed by a great prophet, and a prophetic way that he was selected and anointed. He said, thou shalt be turned into another man. 1 Samuel chapter 10. He was turned into another man, totally anointed. But what ended it all? Stubbornness, rebellion. Let me tell you something. Mike Murdoch once said something to this effect, that if you have to tell somebody something twice or three times, it's a waste of your time. The same thing twice, three times. You see, once there have to be a long meeting with you, explaining, you are not serious. You are not serious. Yeah. You are stubborn. Because you are difficult to penetrate. You are difficult to make you to do something. And you can never be a friend of God. In fact, you can never be a friend to somebody whom you are stubborn or rebellious towards. In John chapter 15, I want to show you something. I'll be ending. The next one is the last one. In John 15 verse 14, Jesus showed how to become a friend of God. Because there's a song we say, I am a friend of God, I am a friend of God, I am a friend of God, I am a friend of God. Listen to how to be a friend of God. It says, you are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. You are my friends. You are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. Yes, you are my friends. That's how to become friends with God. do whatsoever I command you. I command, not what others command you. I command. So you are the friend of the person who, when the person tells you do this, you do it. That's your friend. So when Adam and Eve obeyed Satan, they became friends of Satan. And know you know that friendship with the world is enmity with God. When you are a friend of this, you are not a friend of that. That's where third voices come in. What has been said to you 5 times already? What has been said to you 3 times? Abraham was a friend of God. God told him, circumcise yourself. Take your penis and take a stone, sharpen a stone, and cut off the skin. Hey. And Abraham did it. Not only did he do it, but he did it on the first day. The day that God told him, he did it on that same day. That's why you can say that Abraham, my friend, the Bible says, calls Abraham my friend. And Jesus said, you are my friends if you do whatsoever I tell you. That's how to be a friend with somebody. Yeah, you are my friends. So Saul, God told him, when you go here, slaughter everybody, including the children and the women. You see, that's where the word whatsoever I tell you, whatsoever I tell you, whatsoever I tell you, whatsoever I tell you. There are pastors whom I have in my church. When they come to me, they always sit far as possible. They sit as far as possible. They never want to come near. And they don't want to relate. And they have a convenient reason. Do you see? It's because they don't do what I say. They are not my friends. Oh yes. They don't do what I say. They are not my friends. One day I was having a conference. And I saw one of my pastors coming forward to give an offering. You know, it was offering time. Then I saw him coming. When I saw him, I heard the Spirit saying into me that this man has just come to give an offering to show that he is here. No, I remember clearly, and I can see the guy. He's just one of them. He just came in, but he's just come so that you see that he's here. And I said to myself, look at somebody. From full respect, shame. I mean, he's not a genuine person. Oh yes. Oh yes. To mark register that I am here. I want you to see that I am here. How does that help? Fakeness and double standards does not help us. Fakeness and double standards does not help. So brothers and sisters, decide I will not be stubborn and I will not be rebellious. Means that I won't do it. When you say somebody says he's a rebel or he's rebellious, I won't do it. Openly, I mean like clearly I won't, and I won't. I shan't, I can't, I won't. I am not. I'm sorry. I have a prayer meeting called Flow Prayer Meeting. You hear somebody say, what ridiculous time is this? That we have a flow prayer meeting at this ridiculous time. Yes. It's I shan't, I won't, I can't, I am a rebel. Yes. That's different from those whom you have a lot of meetings explaining things, the same thing over and over and over and over again. That brought the end to Saul. That brought the end to Cain. That brought the end to Saul. That was finished for Saul. The church must send or it will end. What brings an end to your life, to your ministry? What brings an end? Stubbornness and rebellion. Openly disobedient. Openly doing the wrong thing. Openly, I am against. Openly disobeying what God has said to you and what God has said in the word. openly and clearly, I am not, I will not, I am not doing, I shan't, I can't, I won't, I don't. It brings it to the end. It brings you to the end. And the great Saul was brought to an end. And God said, okay, I'm going to bring this small boy. I'll bring this small boy whom you don't respect. I'll use the small boy. That's why God uses small boys. God will always use small boys and nobodies whom people don't regard and people have negative things to say about him. God will use that person and you'll be sitting there watching as God uses somebody whom you despise. You despise him.